Welcome to another episode of Dark Skies Podcast, coming to you live from Los Angeles, California, from the Bay to LA. And we got a full show, so I hope you strap yourselves in. Today we're talking secret wars. We got space news, we got Space Force, we got all the craziness that's happening around the world, we got all the crazy weather, we got the shutdown, we got the pandemic. Well, we're going to try to make all sense of it all. if it is possible. Can't just say it. Sound like Biden trying to get it all out. But anyway, you just strap yourself in, and we're talking secret wars. We're talking alien invasion. We're talking AI. I mean, it's crazy. So, I mean, I'm all fired up. I can really get my words out. So, make yourselves comfortable. I am gonna get my mind right. Take a drink of tea. Get some tea today. And I'm going to look through these files, and man, we got a lot to talk about. So thanks for joining us. I'm your host, LC Graves. You found Dark Skies, News and Information Podcast, coming to you live. Los Angeles, California. Secret Wars. It's pretty cool, y'all. I'm really blown away by this show. So, I'm really blown away. Show you this knowledge. Be back in a few seconds. It's crazy because when you think of secret wars, you think of, Marvel and the comics and, the secret war issues. But no, we're talking real life secret wars. And it is so crazy because all the things that are going on in the world today, I mean, there's been no answers. I mean, all the pandemics, the predictions, the shutdowns, the government rule, the protests, it's all just been a mixture of chaos, and on every level. Got me rubbing my head. I mean, it is so much going on. So we're trying to cover all this stuff, right? And we're trying to get each show, and another thing happening. We got the big, large explosion. I mean, hundreds dead, thousands injured. It's just, we have the fires going on in California. We have the protests going on. We have, people from all around the world checking in and, telling us about, the craziness that's going on. It's pretty much madness. So, we was looking through some of our files, and we was looking like, what's beneath the surface, because a lot of times when there's a whole bunch of stuff like, public and in the public side, there's something, happening in the background or in, behind the scenes, kind of like, distraction, like you cause an explosion over here while something important is happening over there. Make everybody look in one direction while something really, important is happening, somewhere else. So you completely miss it. Well, we've been doing that and pretty much mastering it over the years, because there's always something, the world's worried about the pandemic, look up, well, there's a comet, so it's, it's always something, it's just something that we do as researchers. We say that if they giving you a bone, then the whole meal must be somewhere else. That's basically how a researcher would look at it. So we look, behind the scenes and try to find out, what's going on and, what can we find? And man, you will be surprised. And especially with all the different things that's been happening and trying to make sense of the senseless, it's ridiculous. So we spend a lot of time, reading and researching and trying to toil through all these different websites and all of these different YouTube stations and all of these different publications and notes and media broadcasts. And, you got to sift through a lot when it comes to the media because they never give you the full story. Light them if you got them. It is so crazy if you look at, like, how politicized our media has become. It's to the point where they're not, giving us, accurate information. They're not giving us facts. They're only giving us opinions. And those opinions, circle around, which, side they're on. And we spend a lot of time on the media saying that, they don't give us a fair shot. When I talk about, just the community, the people, they don't give us no credit. They think we're stupid or we're dumb and that we can't figure out things for ourselves. And I was looking at some of the recent studies when it comes to, people and they believe it, and the believability of the media when it comes to, people, and do people think that the media is actually giving them accurate information, or is the information slanted towards one political side of the party, whether it be Republican or Democrat? So it's crazy because I think the number said close to 86% of Americans who listen to the media today feel that the media is not giving them accurate or truthful information when it comes to anything. So basically they're looking at the media, like they look at the government, like we don't believe a thing you say. So what do people do? They turn to alternative media, and yes, that's us, and that's social media, that's, podcasts, that's blogs, if there are any really big blogs right now. But, you have, Twitter, you have like each and every one of us have some type of outlet or platform where we're giving out information, or if something's going on in our life, we can actually, articulate it to the world. We have this podcast, and you can come here and you can get, valuable news and information. Especially when it comes to, the coronavirus, rules, laws, masks, people's feelings about, exactly, how they feel about, what's going on when it comes to, the schools being closed, businesses being closed, the economy being shot to hell, new rules being put in place, new shutdowns happening, new stay-at-home orders. Because there's nobody going door to door, asking these people, their opinions. There's nobody out there talking to the, the homeless, because, yes, they're still homeless. Everybody was on a high horse a few months ago, like, oh, we got to get the homeless off the street because the virus is going to spread amongst the homeless like a plague. I remember. But now, our politicians are sounding stupider and stupider, and it just makes me think that it just doesn't make sense. So that's where we come with the secret wars, because we believe like maybe there's more than what, they're telling us. Maybe, this coronavirus is just a cover-up of something that's much more bigger and grander. Because, with SpaceX building a spaceship, a starship, then we got our government, United States, and our Space Force. But then not to mention we have space programs around the world, China and, India. Then you got the European space program. They're a little bit behind, kind of bogged down. But at the same time, though, you see all of these different parts of the world and space programs. They're really a big thing right now. Back when, it was kind of falling off. We didn't have a space shuttle or, a mechanism to get astronauts to space or to the moon or to Mars. But now you hear about these Mars rovers, you hear about AI life and calculations and what it's going to take to, to get more rovers on the Mars, and how everybody's trying to, send representation to Mars and planning Mars manned missions. Now, I know y'all probably don't really get enough information when it comes to Mars manned missions, but, all around the world, a lot of different countries have their eye on, putting together some type of program where they want to send humans to Mars. Now, we are just reaching the edge of what it could be. And, people are starting to open their eyes and starting to see that, there's so much more out there. It's not just the Earth, There's other planets, other solar systems, other galaxies. In some cases, other universes, but I don't know if your mind is ready to expand to that size yet. But, let's keep it small. Now, humans right now are trying to get off Earth, and they want to go to Mars. Now, none of this stuff has never given us any explanations, and no words have been said when it comes to the reason. It's just something, or we're led to believe it's just something that they want to do. We want to go to Mars. In China, like, oh yeah, we want to go to Mars. India, Europe, everybody, we all want to go to Mars. We all want to have a space program. All of a sudden, though, this is something that's growing and growing and growing and growing. And I want to say in popularity, but it's more out of necessity. Now, Secret Wars is saying that, there's something more going on. We're looking at, something unfold before our eyes, and we don't really understand what's happening, but at the same time, we're still trying to take it all in, and we're talking amongst each other, but we're talking about bits and pieces of a much larger picture, but it's like a puzzle, and we all get a little piece of the puzzle. So we hear one piece, and it's about the United States government and UFO disclosure, dropping the bomb, letting everybody understand that, listen, there's something flying up in our atmosphere or in our airs, over our air bases, over our military installations, and we don't know what it is. And in some cases, they're too fast for us to keep up with, too fast for us to monitor, too mysterious for us to identify. So, it's been an ongoing saga, especially when it comes to, the secrecy of this investigative program when it comes to the United States government and the investigation of aerial phenomena. And these are unexplained, unidentified aerial phenomena. So these are things that are flying around and they're moving around. I ain't gonna say we've all, but there's been many pictures and many documentations of strange things that are moving in our, atmosphere or in our skies. And at the same time, these things have been reported, and for many years our government has denied, rebuked any type of idea that, there's anything up there. You're looking at some space gas, or you saw a bird flying at night, or it was a bat. There's all kinds of weird excuses on why it wasn't what we thought it was. And at the same time, it often led people to believe that, well, maybe we have secret, technology that we're flying, and we really don't want people to know that what we have, so we're going to pretend like, we don't know nothing. And there's nothing up there. But at the same time, people are thinking like, well, some of the stuff is moving at the rate of speed or using technology far beyond anything that we can ever imagine. Now, maybe we are advanced, but come on, man. It's hard to believe. So we're trying to connect all these different things and trying to make sense of it, because I'm telling you, it is weird when you think of Secret Wars and you think of, an unseen enemy, like our president is often, described, what we're up against, the unseen, the invisible scourge. I can't really come up with all the different names that, our president has used to describe the different situation that we find ourselves in today. And I say different because it's nothing like anything that we've ever experienced. So Secret Wars, right? So we're going to talk a little bit more about this. And, what is Secret Wars? Who are you fighting? Where's the battlefield? What a type of enemy, what are their capabilities? And is this threat imminent? So we're going to talk all about, Secret Wars. We're going to talk about our presidential election and our leaders and their mind state and, what can we expect going forward when it comes to Secret Wars and, the United States and the Earth and the human race. So make yourselves comfortable. We're going to play a little bit of music. I'm going to turn it over to the DJs. You listen to The Dark Skies News and Information. I'm your host, L.C. Graves. Thank you for joining us.
Jesus, the notorious just. Please us with your lyrical thesis. We just chillin', milk 'em, top billin', silkin', pure linen, me and little C, Malibu sea breeze, dawn peas, palm trees. trees, cats named Pablo and milked out Diablo. The williest, bitches be the silliest. The more I smoke, the smaller the silly gets. Room 112, where the players dwell, and stash more cash than Bert Fidel. Inhale, make you feel good like Tony. Kick up in your middle like Moni. She don't know me, but she's setting up to blow me. Try to style sliding off with a homie. Escada Don Gata, player, stay splurging. Game so tight, they call it version.
Oh, I need to know where we stand. Do we share the special thing called love? I know I do. What about you? I just can't get enough of the time.
Where you go? What do I do? I can't live without your love. Thinking of you makes me feel like I am the only one for you. Girl, I want to be with you. Oh, no one else, only you. Why can't we just make it happen? Oh, baby, I need you in my life.
Every time I'm with you, never wanted to come to an end.
Thought I told you that we won't stop.
Always make me so happy. You'll always have a place in my heart.
Where you go? What do I do? 'Cause I can't live without your love. Thinking of you makes me feel like I'm the only one.
Damn, you can hum all you want to, come all you want to. Money, I'ma front you. Girl, I wanna flaunt you. I'ma always want you when nobody wants you. If I die now, my love will still haunt you. Mace ain't the one that'll pay for your phone. Mace be the one that'll take you home. Even though I'm not the one that gave you the stones on your days alone, I can make you moan. Everybody know I got more bounce than an ounce. Bad boy, get more money than you can count. Why I'm buying things you can't even pronounce. I do it to you, cat, for a large amount. And when the beef come, you know where to be found. Why I be around till the winner is announced? Then you go, girl, with thousands in your palm. Why you can't let bygones be bygones?
Where do I go? What must I do if I can't live without your love? Thinking of you makes me feel, baby, like I'm the only one for you. Girl, I want, oh yeah, no one else. I need you in my life, oh baby. Why can't we make it happen? Oh baby, oh baby, I like.
Thought I told you that we won't stop. I thought I told you that we won't stop. I thought I told you that we won't stop. I thought I told you that we won't stop. I thought I told you that we won't stop. I thought I told you that we won't stop. I thought I told you that we won't stop. I thought I told you that we won't stop.
And I need you.
Oh, yeah, you're listening to Dark Skies. News and information coming to you live from Los Angeles, California, from the Bay to LA. What's up, San Jose? I'm telling you, right now we're talking Secret Wars. We're trying to make sense of what's going on. What happened to the world? Right before our eyes, right before our eyes, we just watched everything change, No more movies, no more fans at sports, even though sports are starting to come back, but no fans. I mean, don't everything look alien to you? Everything looks backwards. I mean, it's almost like we lost and nobody told us. And that's what I was saying at the beginning of this epidemic, this pandemic, this shutdown, this economic destruction of the world. It's almost like the world has been taken and reshaping right before our own eyes. The shelter at home, You know, it's almost like the way it was done, right? You know, y'all just go home. You know, we'll give y'all some money. Don't worry about going to work, you know. Just go home. You know, it was sad. You know, the epidemic, the coronavirus. I don't know if y'all remember the timeline, but I can take y'all through the timeline, you know, through my records. And I know my records match our records because, you know, my records reflect basically what happened, you know, here on Earth. I don't know if y'all remember, but not long ago, you know, the Chinese space program, you know, really got into, you know, gear, you know, got the boosters up under them, and, you know, they landed rovers, right, on the moon. 2 of them, right? Dark side, light side. Incredible feat, you know. Pictures, you know, I think they shared a few, but, you know, China didn't share too much information on their moon escapades. But it's funny because not too much later, you know, we started, you know, getting, you know, reports about, you know, this lab in Wuhan, China, and, you know, the possible pandemic, you know, about this virus that was getting out and was spreading rapidly, and they were trying to get containment of it. And the first thing that went to my mind was a virus that they can't get control of. And China, you know, of course, you know, a lot of people didn't pay too much attention to it when it first started, but, you know, the first thing I was thinking was, you know, I wonder if it had anything to do with their moon mission. You know, did they bring anything back? Now, who knows? You know, pure speculation. Some say dangerous speculation. Oh, that's dangerous thinking. Well, nobody's answering questions, so I'm forced to speculate. We're forced to speculate. But anyway, I found it fascinating that, you know, the pandemic, you know, really started to spread, you know, and of course China was the source. So, you know, this pandemic spread around the world, and to me, I was like, wow, it was real fast, you know, and because I got the virus map, you know, stored in my computer, and basically what this map does is it shows, you know, the infection rate and how the infections grew, and in what cities and what countries and the rate that it grew, and, you know, from the date and the time all the way up from, you know, the beginning to now. So it was incredible because I was looking at it and I was looking at the spread of it, and it looked like a weapon. You know, at the rate it was spreading, the places that was affected, how it specifically honed in on, you know, certain age groups and races, right? So I just thought, you know, it was strange. So we got more and more information, but then we got less information, and then it just got more and more convoluted. But one thing we understood was we no longer had any rights as Americans. It was almost like the Constitution was, you know, being frozen. You know, you no longer had the right, you know, to gather, to protest, to choose. You know, the Bill of Rights was null and void. As the governors and, you know, our mayors and, you know, our dictators took over. You know, putting in place unfair rules, shutting down businesses unfairly, completely shutting down religion, dictating to you how you should worship. And it's funny because people say, I've never seen nothing like this before. Because this is secret wars. This is not a war that's being fought out in the open. This is something different. A war that's being fought, you know, behind the scenes. Because that's where I'm always at, behind the scenes, because I'm always trying to get the real story. And lo and behold, I find myself in the middle of a war. We all do. Only difference is I recognize, the remnants of battle. Now, it's crazy because, this pandemic, I believe is a part of the secret wars. I also believe that, everybody's space program, is really gearing up for something. It's like we're building a space fleet. We're trying to send humans to another planet. Not the moon, but to Mars. Why Mars? What's there? They told it was a barren wasteland. There was nothing there. Just a bunch of red dirt. But now you see pictures and you see blue skies. You see structures. There's reports of water being there. So it forces you to look at things completely different now. I thought water was just on Earth. I thought the basic building blocks to life, only existed here. What? Turns out it could be life all over the place. I mean, what are the chances of it being life, with neighbors? Granted, Mars is a little farther away than, your normal neighbor would be, but it's a neighbor. It just lets you know that there's more. Our ancestors spoke of the ones who came from the sky or from the stars. And all throughout human culture, history, history before history was being written, when history was actually being experienced. Our ancestors spoke of, star people. Made great monuments and mounds, in remembrance and respect and, and worship of these beings. So we understand that there's more than just us. At least our ancestors did. We become so convoluted and lost. We're sheep. Told to go home. Forget about your job. Forget about your home, your business, your employees, your family. They were caught in some type of war. A war against the human race. A war that tells you stay away from your elders. You don't want to get them sick and kill them, only to watch them die and you're not there. Told to stay away from each other. No social gathering, social distancing. It's almost like a backwards world. No movies, no swimming pools, no parties, no barbecues, no get-togethers. Just isolation. Then they expect people not to go crazy like, people need to listen to what they're being told to do. You're telling people to do something that's not human. Who's telling you to tell us to do that? You have to look past the puppet. See, who's the puppet master? Who's telling Garcetti to say what he's saying? Who controls Newsom? All these leaders around the world, they're all falling in line. They seem to be acting under the same template. Why? And it's crazy because, when you hear our leaders speak, you ask yourself, is this, our leaders? Or is it somebody else? Is this the people that's in charge? Or is it somebody else? Right now we're in the middle of a presidential election season, right? We got candidates Kanye West. We got candidate Joe Biden. We got candidate and president and defending champion Donald Trump. So it's crazy because now we're looking at all of this and we're asking ourselves, what the hell am I looking at? What am I seeing? Can this be real? I don't know. It's hard to believe. So we got tapes, that's been going around, every time Joe Biden speaks from the basement. It just kind of blows my mind. I mean, this guy's a genius, right? Very smart man. He might be the most powerful man, in the world, right? You win a, presidential election and you become the president. You become pretty powerful, right? Well, we listen to these and just listening to our candidates speak, and it blows my mind. It just makes me think, like, I can't believe that this guy's made it this far, but, I guess that's where we're at, because when Trump was running against Hillary, a lot of people didn't believe that Trump had a chance. A lot of people didn't believe that Bush could beat Gore. I mean, there's all kinds of scenarios that's been played in the past, but this is incredible. When you look at Biden, with his presidential election run from the basement, you have Trump, refusing to wear a mask. I mean, it's incredible. So, run the tape, Mikey, and let the world, listen to, Joe Biden. And basically he's answering the question. He's speaking on his cognitive awareness, and does he need any type of mental test or cognitive test, to, basically run for, the position of President of the United States of America. So run the tape, Mikey, and let the people hear what I was hearing. And it's funny because you can kind of hear the people laughing in the background who are playing the clip. Hopefully you won't hear me laughing in the background.
To President Trump, who brags about his test and makes your mental state an issue for voters.
Well, if he can't figure out the difference between an elephant and a lion, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Did you watch that? Look, come on, man. I know you're trying to goad me, but, I mean, I'm so forward looking to have an opportunity to sit with the president or stand with the president in debates. There's going to be plenty of time. And by the way, as I joke with him, I shouldn't say it. I'm going to say something I probably shouldn't say. Anyway, I am very willing to let the American public judge my physical and mental my physical as well as my mental fitness, to make a judgment about who I am.
I'm sorry. See, I don't know if it's going around and if that's something that happens to all of us. I mean, oh my God. I know I fumble through words all the time. Mikey said I invent words all the time. And maybe that's true, but I'm not running for president. Basically, I'm just hosting a podcast. So, I can choke my way through these words, and, I can read from, we don't have a teleprompter, so I'm reading from my own notes a lot of times. And unfortunately, I can't read my own writing. I can read your writing, Mikey, but I can't read mine. I mean, I don't know why. Sometimes I'm writing so fast and I may leave a word out of a sentence, and I know a word is supposed to be there when I'm reading it, and, I might get fumbled upon, but I don't know. Do we have a cognitive test for me? But old Joe, he was really struggling to get his words out. And it's crazy because, can you play that clip again? It's crazy because when he was talking, he was saying, I don't want to say something, that I'm not supposed to say. Then he immediately went into something that he failed to say correctly. I don't know. Just play it again. I might be. It might just be me.
Say to President Trump, who brags about his test and makes your mental state an issue for voters?
Well, if he can't figure out the difference between an elephant and a lion, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Did you watch that? Look, come on, man. I know you're trying to goad me, but I mean, I'm so forward looking to have an opportunity to sit with the president or stand with the president in debates. There's going to be plenty of time. And by the way, as I joke with him, you know, I shouldn't say it. I'm going to say something I probably shouldn't say. Anyway, I am very willing to let the American public judge my physical and mental my physical as well as my mental fitness, to make a judgment about who I am.
I'm sorry, but it's funny because he's trying to sell his, his mental stability, and I guess his physical stability to the American people, but at the same time, I guess what Trump is saying about him is that he's not mentally capable of being president or doing a job or even running for president. I don't know. That's just what he's saying. Boy, some crazy stuff when you get into election time, because they cold-blooded. They go after each other. But you can't give them ammo like that, Joe. I mean, if you want people to think that, you're mentally sharp, then you got to give them mentally sharp moments. You can't, fumble through, a statement. I mean, and you're talking about, in the statement he was saying, Mikey, that he, I guess look forward to, sitting down and debating. Then he said stand up. I guess he had to think that, he's not going to be sitting up there with Trump and debating. They'll probably be standing up. That's how most debates are done, standing. So he thought about that. I don't know. He's forced to think on his feet, and he fails miserably. And it's crazy because he's talking to a reporter right here. I guess he's losing that debate. But can you imagine if he was talking to Trump and, Trump had a, opportunity to lay into him? I mean, I don't know. He really struggled with his words or to articulate what he was thinking at the moment when he was thinking it. I don't know, man. I might be wrong, and he just messed up, right?
Shouldn't say. Anyway, I am very willing to let the American public judge my physical and mental my physical as well as my mental fitness.
He tried. My mental fitness.
That wasn't the reporter. That was John and Ken. Hey, would that be funny though if the reporter was trying to help him? Like, yo. I'm sorry, but this is what we are currently going through, though. I mean, we have our leaders. We got Donald Trump.
There will be a tremendous death from that. Death. You're talking about death.
And we got Biden, and between the two of them, I mean, I'm gonna have endless sound bites. I mean, my team love to dig through all of these interviews and stuff, and they pick out their little favorite sound bites, and then they.
Man, that's like saying before you got in this program, you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not. What do you think, huh? Or are you a junkie?
What do you say?
But this is a presidential election right now, and it's backwards because I remember, I guess Bush, he had some sound bites, and I mean baby Bush. He had some sound bites, that go down in history. Clinton, his favorite sound bite. I didn't have sexual relations with that girl. or that woman. I mean, I might not be saying it verbatim, but, it's been a while. I mean, we've had, some presidential candidates and presidents, wow, drop some incredible, sound bites. You remember when Hillary was running, she hit us with the dog. She was, woof, 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 woof. I don't know, man. It's just, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, I tell you that much. So, we've been following the election, and, Secret Wars are saying that, from the treatment of this president, from what they call the dark state, and they call, the secret societies and all of these people that are so-called trying to get rid of Trump, with what they call it, the fake media, the fake news stories, Russia hoax, and then you hear, the marches and the protests, and then you see Trump, put his foot in his mouth oftenly, calling protesters terrorists, Americans terrorists, and using, I don't think he used the military, but these governors, when they so quick to use the National Guard to come in and to break up protests is unconstitutional. I mean, but a whole lot of this stuff is unconstitutional. And I guess when you're fighting secret wars, the Constitution is thrown out the window. And we also have a whole lot of just weird behavior from, these candidates. And just to hear them speak, it just, just leaves you befuddled. I mean, I would love to make sense of it, but I can't. So me and Mikey often sit around and laugh, but man, this is getting scary too. All right. Thank you for my few seconds of old school. He knows I like to play that when I get a little down or upset. But okay, I'm back. And think about it, man. We are so lost and caught up in all of this political dogma, all of this pandemic dogma. I mean, that we completely forget that religious places of worship is, being shut down. You think about all the families that are being, affected. I mean, because since the 31st of July, there's no more $600 unemployment, extra a week. So that reality is setting in. Then the reality of people not having jobs to return to because of all the shutdown, that reality is setting in. Then you look around the world and you look at all the unrest and you look at, the natural disasters, with people that are, what people are faced with, whether it be the fires in California or the hurricanes and the bad weather back east, or, you look around the world and you just see, there's so much happening. And, I know you're thinking it has to be an answer. It has to mean something. Something is going on. Can you tell me? Or can you make sense of it? Well, I mean, it's almost like, we're fighting a battle. And you hear this terminology used often, especially, here on the West Coast, we're in fire season, and you hear all of these media coverage of the fires, whether it be the Apple fire or the Dam fire earlier, and you hear them speak of, the firefighters and the lines and, the fight, and they're using, like these Black Hawk style helicopters, with 1,000, gallon water tanks, and they dropping them in, using fire repellent, and it's, it's amazing. So we also see more and more movement of money, funds. You look at resources being allocated, to either coast. You look at the so-called spread of the coronavirus hit more rural areas. You look at more functions of everyday life start to open up as far as like entertainment, like the NFL. You can't go to church, but the NFL can start back up. The NBA playing in a bubble, and that looks to be successful. Major League Baseball had a few outbreaks, but they still seem to be moving forward. Then you have the schools, you can't open the schools. You can't open the schools, you can't hire a tutor. It's just, it's incredible. So it's almost like it's something going on and we're trying to make sense of it, but it's like it's a war against the actual average person. From me to you to the working class man and woman. I don't care if you're working in a pub in Germany or a bar in China or, at the airport in JFK or somewhere in Costa Rica. It doesn't matter where you're at. You're just looking at the effects, because the effects are so great. But, we're taught to look at the cause, and let everybody else, worry about the effect, because the effect does get big and there's plenty of us to really research the effects of what's happening, but what's the cause? Why are we going to Mars? Why do we have a space program? Why do we have a space force? Why is a civilian space program carrying astronauts, to the space station? I mean, all of this stuff, you want to answer these questions, right? What's on Mars that they're not telling us? So as more and more information come out, we're going to share it and we're going to talk about it. So we're going to take one more break, then we're going to come back out. And, we're going to close it out. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Secret Wars and the United States Space Program, Space Force. We're going to talk about some of the connections to the Secret Wars and what's happening in our leaders' behavior and some of the rules and stuff that we have in place right now, and what does it mean, and why do we have them, and, more. So I'm going to take me a little break, maybe eat me a piece of candy. I'll be back in a few seconds. You're listening to Dark Skies News and Information, live from Los Angeles, California, from the Bay to LA. Thanks for listening. I'm your host, LC Grace.
For numbers, say to wonder with this drug dealing. The feelings make me a villain to them pH unbalanced civilians. Don't let them hurt feelings turn this lesson to a killer. Gang spilling, my prophecy fulfilling. To be involved with a killing must be immune to squilling. Listen, lady, what does it take to get you out of crazy? Pass you a load of 38 and bust some fools who play me. This is how I plan at night. First we ride on the busters, then we dine, eating dinner by candlelight. Be alert and putting work with a thug's passion. I'm the king and you the queen up in Thug's Mansion. Me, I'ma never be a buster, I ride for keeps. I know you shy, but please reply. Would you ride for me? Tell me, baby, would you ride for me? Bust on the motherfuckers when they lie to me. Now don't you ever tell a lie, just confide in me. Would you die for me? Tell me, baby, would you ride for me? Tell me, baby, would you ride for me? Would you bank on them niggas when they lie to me? Don't ever tell a lie, just confide in me. Would you die for me? Tell me, baby, would you lie for me?
Come on, baby, won't you ride for me? Do the time for me, just cop back the 9 and see how many niggas put a gun in your hand. Tell you to take what you can while you running with your man. On my order, you shoot, straight counting the loot. You disguised in my boots, dip and slide in the coupe. Unorthodox tripping, catch 'em on mission, styles twisting daily. Weak MCs trail me, show me how telling me. Smoke me instead of telling me. You know it ain't no fatal dog in jail without felony. At the telly, they yelling me. Play me, I give you one try, and I'll let you live long enough to let you see your son die. This evilness and wickedry, thug life specifically, it can be about as deadly as them bullets that keep missing me. So what I'm supposed to do, just to open up your eyes and see you got it good, all you have to do is ride for me.
So tell me, baby, would you ride for me? Would you bomb more niggas when they lie to me? Now don't you ever tell a lie, just confide in me. Would you die for me? Tell me, baby, would you ride for me? Tell me, baby, would you ride for me? Would you bomb more niggas when they lie to me? Now don't you ever tell a lie, just confide in me. Would you die for me? Tell me, baby, would you ride for me?
It was a nice sunny day, I was dipping through the hood. Seen all my homies and it was all to
the good. I'm corrupt, that half-faced villain, cold chilling from the floor to the ceiling. An illegal living civilian, so much cash is in abundance. Been there and done it, everything you done seen and never wanted. I'm corrupt, piece me up a piece of the pie. Many tried and many died in attempts to ride. Who's the man with 10,000 plans? Got the brands with my squad. We worldwide homicidal clans. So many stretch their arms out to touch my loot. But fuck the dog, beware the owner, cause the owner is shoot. Leave the dog in the worst way. And a nigga like me is tight on my worst day. I've been rocking the fucking mic since the first day. My eyes open wide and finally realize. Tell me, baby, would you ride for me?
So tell me, baby, would you ride for me? Would you bomb more niggas when they lie to me? Now don't you ever tell a lie, just confide in me. Would you die for me? Tell me, baby, would you ride for me? Tell me, baby, would you ride for me? Would you bomb more niggas when they lie to me? Now don't you ever tell a lie, just confide in me. Would you die for me? Tell me, baby, would you ride for me?
Yeah, you're listening to Dark Skies News and information coming to you live from Los Angeles, California, from the Bay to LA. And we're talking secret rings. And, you know, this is something going on that our leaders are not telling us. I mean, ask yourself, why things are happening now the way that they're happening. I mean, not too long ago we had our first interstellar visitor. You know, something that was from outside of our solar system came flying in, angled itself, flung around our sun, and hurled itself back out of our solar system. Very high rate of speed. And the funny thing about it, didn't look natural. It was cigar shaped. I mean, it's weird because we've had UFO sightings in the past and pictures of cigar-shaped objects. And all of a sudden, a cigar-shaped object comes flying into our solar system and going back out. Now, I know it was important, you know, that happened because, you know, the world was like, well, it could be a natural object. But never before, you know, in the history of astronomy and my study of astronomy or galaxies or stars, that I've ever seen anything naturally form into a cigar shape. Nor on Earth has anything formed, you know, naturally like a cigar shaped rock. Just don't happen. You know, that's something that's artificially formed. Now, we are seeing more and more and more evidence that there's life beyond our solar system, beyond our planet, out there. And now we're starting to, you know, ramp up the space programs and ramp up the telescopes and, you know, got the Hubble working 24 hours a day. I mean, there's so much going on, so much to see and so much to learn. You know, Earth-like planets, you know, water, you know, Titan. You know, so many different places we want to go, so many different places we want to visit, so many questions we want to answer. And it just makes me so excited when I start to think about just the sheer possibility of, you know, the mission to Mars and what kind of information or, you know, fruit can it bear. But are we on the edge of, you know, discovering a new race, you know, out there beyond, you know, Earth's solar system, you know, our solar system, but from another solar system. And that they come and visit our solar system and, you know, meet us. Now, I often say that, you know, we need to improve as a species. You know, we need to treat each other better. You know, but I do believe that our species is at war. You know, everything that we believe in, our families, our culture, being together, you know, it's being attacked. By who? You know, is it an AI? Is it an alien? Is it both? An alien using an AI? Who knows? All I know is that, you know, our leaders stand up with predictions instead of facts. And they tell us that, oh, it's predicted that this many die if we don't do this. Like, who told you that? And who gives you these predictions? Where is these numbers coming from? You know, why are you so afraid that You shut down the whole world, sent everybody home, ruined the economy, ruined businesses, ruined people's livelihood, shut down religion. What scared you so bad? It couldn't have just been, a virus. Because we got viruses active on Earth. Or is it a virus that's not from Earth? Are we being attacked by something that's, from outside? I remember one of the greatest quotes I heard, one of our leaders say is when Reagan got up there and he said, don't you know that, our differences will mean so little if we faced a threat that was, from outside our planet. How little our differences will mean. We'd have to stand together. We'll be forced to look at things more differently. And now, are we at the doorstep of discovering ourselves as well as the universe and all the stuff that's around us? And can it be true? Can it be real? And what more will we discover in the coming years, in the coming days? I mean, we have so much to learn. And yeah, we're ahead of schedule, but we're also behind. So, what's next? I mean, we study these secret wars and we ask, why was there that big explosion, in Lebanon? Why we had, military mishaps that's costing us, military personnel as well as equipment, military AAV go down, no explanation, the fire aboard the LHD, no explanation, it's a lot going on. You can look at it as in coincidence, but I don't believe in coincidences. I believe that everything happens for a reason. There's a cause and there's an effect. I'm always after that cause. I mean, the effect is always public, but the cause is always private. So I like to look at the information and evidence, and I see where it points, see where it leads, because it could be something that you never could have possibly imagined, like a secret war being fought right up under our nose, whether it be a secret organization, secret government, secret civilians, terrorists, maybe something from outside of our solar system or outside of just our planet. Maybe we're fighting Mars. I don't know, man. All I know is that secret wars means that there are wars being fought and nobody acknowledged that they're actually happening or even talk about it. An unspoken war. So this is what we're going to continue to investigate. We're going to find out why we have AAVs going down and we're losing military personnel, why we're losing aircraft carriers, to fires, why we are having random explosions. It seems to be, they say it's accidents, but leaving huge clouds, plumes of smoke. I mean, destroying whole areas. But, accident. Just write it off. Don't look this way. Or is it a secret war being fought? Is it something causing all of this? Pandemic, shutdown, government leaders acting strange, advancement in space technology, and exploration and force. Can't forget the space, force. So all of these things are playing a part right now as we speak. It's incredible to see, but if you put it all together, it just seems like a war. And we all are sitting at home, no reason to go to work, because it may not be a tomorrow. At first I thought maybe, they were preparing for like an asteroid or something. That's why they sent everybody home and they're just going to make an announcement. But they're probably going to make an announcement, but it may not be the announcement that, we envisioned. Could be our government saying, and me and every American today. Every human on the planet is at war. The war is no longer a secret. Well, right now it's a secret because nobody speaks of it and everybody just looking at a bit or a piece or a small segment of what's going on, and they don't focus on the entire picture. And the entire picture say that, the world is ended. And will it start back up? We don't know. Why it ended? We don't know. Will they ever tell us? I don't know. But I do know that currently at this moment, the world is ended. The world has stopped. We're trying to get it regoing. And very little answers are being presented. And at this point, very few questions are being asked. So we're going to continue to look at it. We're going to continue to follow it. And we're going to continue to make as much sense out of the senseless as we can. But at this moment, I believe that we're fighting a secret war. All of us. And at this moment, we're losing. So gather all the information you can. These large explosions, these so-called accidents, loss of military personnel and equipment and ships. We want to try to figure out why all of this is happening. Why the space program, why the Space Force, why the Starship. There's a lot going on, people, and I just want to know why. And are we going to ever get the world going back again? And I know it'll never be the same, but what will it be? And will we ever know why we lost our last world and ended up locked down at home? Is it really a pandemic or a virus, or is it something else? So that's what we're looking at, and we're going to continue to dig deep. But for now, Mikey, Jam, Jennifer, Jeff, me, your host, LC Grace, you've been listening to Dark Skies News and Information Podcast, live from Los Angeles, California. As time flew. Said it was a full show, but this time just went past really fast. So thanks for joining us. We're finna relax and get ready for the next show. Dark Skies News and Information Podcast. I'm your host, LC Grace. Once again. And I'm out.
Man, that's like saying before you got in this program, you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not. What do you think, huh? Or are you a junkie?
What do you say?
Man, that's like saying before you got in this program, you take a test where you're taking cocaine. Shouldn't say. Anyway, I am very willing to let the American public judge my physical and mental my physical as well as my mental fitness.
He tried. My mental illness. What are you gonna